Dear students, this is Shilpa Shetty A, Assistant Professor, Department of Information Science and Engineering, AJIET, Mangalore. So in this lecture, we will be discussing C programming for problem solving. So we will be discussing concepts from module 3, that is arrays and strings. So before this lecture, we have already finished 2 sessions from module 3. So in the first session, we have discussed what is an array, how to store elements in an array and how to retrieve elements from the array. Along with that, we have discussed some sample programs that makes use of array. In the second session, we have discussed 2 important algorithm with respect to searching an element from an array. So we have discussed binary search as well as linear search. In this session, we will be discussing sorting. But before we begin with this session, let us quickly recall what is an array. So you all know that array is a sequence of elements of same data type. So a collection of elements of homogeneous data type is nothing but an array. So in order to access an element from the array, we use an index. So basically, when we say an array, we know that arrays are the elements of the array are stored in consecutive manner. That is, the elements of the array are stored one after the other in the memory. So if we have to access an element, then we need to use the index. So index is nothing but a subscript to the array. It tells which element of the array you are accessing. So the index of the array varies from 0 to size of the array minus 1. That is, if the array size is 5, then the array index will range from 0 to 4. Where 0 is the index of the first element of the array and 4 is the index of the last element of the array. And one more important thing is, when we have to store elements in an array, basically we use a for loop, because for loop makes our work very easier. That is, we write a for loop that varies from 0 till size of the array minus 1. Or in simple words, if I is the loop variable, then our for loop will be for I is equal to 0, where 0 is the starting index, I less than n. So if n represents the size of the array, let's take size of the array is 5, then less than n means till I is less than 4. That is less than 5, that means till I is less than or equal to 4. So we can read the elements from index 0 to 4 and then we write I++ along with scanf function if we are reading elements to the array, or printf function if we are displaying elements of the array. So in this session, we will be discussing sorting. So what is sorting? Sorting is a process of arranging elements either in ascending order or descending order. That means if you have a collection of elements, that is, if you have an array, the process of sorting the elements in a particular order, either ascending or descending, is called as sorting. So there are many sorting techniques that are available. For example, we have selection sort, we have bubble sort, radix sort, heap sort, quick sort, merge sort. So many sorting algorithms are available. But in this session, we will be discussing 2 important sorting algorithms, that is bubble sort and selection sort. So let us begin with the first technique, that is bubble sort. So bubble sort algorithm compares each pair of adjacent neighbor or neighboring elements, and the elements are swapped if they are not in ascending order. So what this means is, in bubble sort, the neighboring elements are compared and they are compared to see whether they are sorted or not. If they are not sorted, then the elements are swapped. For example, imagine that we have an array of size 5. That means there are 5 elements in the array. Now the bubble sort algorithm works this way. First, the first element is compared with the second element. If they are not sorted, then the swapping is done from the first element to the second element, that is the first and second elements are swapped. Next, the second element is compared with the third element. Again, we are checking if the elements are sorted. If they are sorted, we will keep the elements in their position. Otherwise, we will swap the elements from the second and third position. Likewise, this algorithm continues. That is, in the next step, we will be comparing third element with the fourth element and then fourth element with the fifth element. That means if there are 5 elements in the array, there will be 4 comparisons in one iteration here. That is 1 with 2, 2 with 3, 3 with 4 and 4 with 5. So once you finish these 4 comparisons, the largest element in the array will be placed in the last position of the array. That means now we assume that our array is of size 5. So after we finish 4 comparison, the largest element that is present in this array will be placed in the 5th position. That is, it is going to be the 5th element of the array. So once we do this, again we perform the comparison again in the same way, but this time we exclude the last element. So we will compare only with the first 4 elements. So a comparison will be first element with the second element, then second with the third and third with the fourth. So again, after we finish the second step, that is 3 comparison, now the second largest element will be placed in the last but 1 position, that is it will be placed in the 4th position. So likewise we will continue. So what happens here basically is, as we finish a set of comparison, that is I told you in the first step we have 4 comparison, next we will compare 3, so likewise it goes 2 and 1. This 4 comparison or 3 comparison, these are called as passes. That means in the first pass there will be 4 comparisons, second pass there's going to be 3 and likewise. So this is basically about bubble sort algorithm. So here is the logic. In this technique, 2 successive elements of an array such as a of j and a of j plus 1 are compared. So, if a of j represents the current element, that is element in the jth index, the next element will be a of j plus 1. So, these 2 elements are compared. If a of j is greater than or equal to a of j plus 1, which indicates the elements are not sorted, in such a case, they are exchanged, that is, the elements are swapped. And this process repeats till all the elements of the array are arranged in ascending order. So after each pass, so when I say pass, it means one set of comparison. So once we finish a particular pass, the largest element in the array sinks to the bottom and the smallest element in the array will bubble towards top. That means, imagine that the array is placed, imagine array as a vertical table. So I told you the largest element will be placed at the end. So if we consider that the first element is in the bottom and the last element, that is nth element, is at the top. That is, the first element is at the top and the first element is at the top and the last element of the array is at the bottom. Then once you finish one pass, the largest element will be at the bottom, whereas the smallest element will just move upwards to any of the position. So this sorting technique is also called as sinking sort or bubble sort. Why it is called sinking sort? Because if you imagine this array as a vertical table, once you finish a pass, the largest element will come to the bottom. So that is why you call it as sinking sort. So here is a program for bubble sort. So first we have the header file #include stdio.h. So this header file has the predefined functions for reading and writing any data. That is, The functions printf and scanf are defined in this header file. So coming to the main, we have the declaration part first. So the first int a of 20. So our array is of size 20. This is the initial size of the array. Later we will read elements according to our choice. Then n indicates the actual size of the array. Temp, this is one variable that we require during the swapping process, and I and j are used as loop variables for loop. So first let us read the number of elements in the array. So printf, enter the number of elements, scanf %d ampersand n. So n is the number of elements of size of the array, %d because n is declared as integer. So %d is the format specifier here. So now that we have read the size of the array, let us read the elements of the array. That is, we will read the unsorted elements now. So printf, enter the unsorted array elements, and I already told you, in order to read elements to an array, we basically use a for loop. So that makes our task easier. So with one scanf, it is possible to read all the elements. So that's why we use a for loop. And I also told you that the for loop will range from 0 to n minus 1. So that can be written as, for I is equal to 0, I less than n, or we can also write as I less than or equal to n minus 1. So both are same. I plus plus. Scanf %d ampersand a of I. So that whatever elements you enter, they are stored consecutively in array A. So I represents the index of the array, %d again, because again the elements of the array are now integers. So next, so this part has the actual algorithm, that is, we see how the bubble sort works here. So if you all remember, I discussed about two things here. First, I told you what is a pass. Pass is a set of comparisons. So here the first loop tells how many passes you are going to perform. So generally the number of passes in any array will be one less than the size of the array. That is, if the size of the array is 5, then there will be 4 passes. That means in the first pass there will be 4 comparisons, as I told you, 1 with 2, 2 with 3, 3 with 4 and 4 with 5. In the second pass, already the largest element is in the last position, so no need to compare that element with any of the other elements. So the comparison will be 1 with 2, 2 with 3 and 3 with 4, that is 3. In the third pass, the 2 largest elements are stored in the last 2 positions. So the comparisons will be now only 1 with 2 and 2 with 3. In the next iteration, 3 elements are already sorted. So the comparison will be only between the first and second element. So that's when we finish sorting our array. So if the number of elements in the array is n, there's going to be n minus 1 passes. So in one pass you will have many comparison, but the total number of passes is n minus 1. So here the first for loop represents the number of passes. So for I is equal to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. So if n value is 5, then this for loop will execute for I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3, I is equal to 4. When I becomes 5, 5 less than 5, the condition is false. So the for loop will not get executed. So I hope this is clear. Now, the second for loop indicates the number of comparison in each pass. As I told you, in the first pass we will have 4 comparison. In the second pass we have 3 comparison, third pass we have 2, and fourth pass we will have 1 comparison. So the second for loop tells how many comparisons are there in that particular pass. So this for loop will go from j is equal to 0, j less than n minus I. So what we have understood from the previous explanation is that as the passes increase, the number of comparisons decrease. Simple. This is very simple. During the first pass there are 4 comparisons, second pass there are 3, third pass there are 2, fourth pass there is only 1. So as the pass number increases, the number of comparison decreases. So that is why we write for j is equal to 0, j less than n minus I. So let us take that we are in the first pass. So in the first pass I will be equal to 1. So the number of comparison is j is equal to 0 to j less than n minus I. N is 5, I is 1, 5 minus 1 is 4. So less than 4 means till 3. So what are the possible values of j? 0, 1, 2 and 3. So how many comparisons will be there? 4. So that's how this for loop will work. Similarly in the second pass the value of I is going to be 2. So the for loop will vary from j is equal to 0 to j less than n minus I. So in the second pass n will be 5 whereas I will be 2. 5 minus 2, the answer is 3. J less than 3 means j can go till 2. The possible values of j are 0, 1, 2. So what do you see? The number of comparison which was 4 in the previous pass is now 3 in the current pass. So that is how this continues. So that is about the 2 for loops. So keep in mind the first for loop represents the number of passes. The second for loop represents the number of comparison in a particular pass. So the next thing that we have is the actual comparison. So we told you already, comparison is with the jth element with the j plus 1th element. So if the jth element is greater than the j plus 1th element, then the elements have to be exchanged. So if a of j greater than a of j plus 1, so this is comparison. If it is greater, what we have to do is we have to swap the elements. So to swap we need 3 statements here, that is temp is equal to a of j is equal to a of j plus 1 and a of j plus 1 is equal to temp. This means, let us take a real world example. If you have a glass of water and a glass of milk, if you have to exchange the content of each glass, that is the glass in which you have stored water should contain now the milk. The glass in which you have stored milk in that you have to store water. So if you have to perform exchange between these 2 glasses, the contents of the glasses, then you need a third glass. So what you can do is take an empty glass. So this is our third glass. First pour water to the empty glass. So now the glass in which you had stored water is empty. So you can easily pour milk to this particular glass. So now milk will be in the glass that contained water. So now the glass in which you have stored milk is now empty. So the additional glass in which you have stored the water temporarily, now you can pour it to the glass that contained milk earlier. So in this way the milk and water gets exchanged. So same way here, if you have to exchange 2 elements of stored in variables or stored in array, then you need a third variable. So the third variable itself is temp here. So that's why we have declared a new variable called temp at the beginning of the program. So what happens here? Temp is equal to a of j. That means the first element, let's take, we are comparing 2 elements 5 and 10. Or let us keep it as 10 and 5. First element is 10, second element is 5. So what I do is first 10 I will store in temp. So now temp is 10. Then A of J is A of J plus 1. What is A of J? The one location that contains 10. So in that I am storing A of J plus 1. That is nothing but my second element 5. So I will store 5 in A of J. So once I store 5 in A of J plus 1, that is the element that contains the second value 5, in that I can store the value that is stored in temp. So in temp, what did I store? I stored 10. So that I will move it to A of J plus 1. So what is happening here? A of J had 5, A of J plus 1, A of J had 10, A of J plus 1 had 5. Now, on executing these three statements, A of J will have 5 and A of J plus 1 will have 10. That is how we swap the values by taking a third variable. So first value will be stored in temporary variable. Then the second value will be copied to the first variable. So once it is copied, the value that is stored in the temporary variable will be copied to the second variable. So this is how swapping takes place. So this is how the algorithm works. For each pass there will be some number of comparison, and in each comparison we compare the jth element with j plus element. If they are not sorted, then we swap the elements by the help of a temporary variable. So once the for loops execute completely, then what happens is the elements in the array will be stored in a sorted order, that is ascending order in our case. So once the elements are sorted, we can display the sorted elements. So again, to display the sorted elements from the array, we need to use a for loop which goes from 0 to n minus 1. So for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, printf %d a of I. And you know that when you are using printf, you are not using ampersand. So simply write a of I and %d, as I told you, because the array A contains integer elements. So that is about this program. So now let us take an example and understand how this sorting, how the algorithm actually works. So let us take an array of size 5. That means the n value is 5 here. So in the first pass, the array looks like this. Okay, the elements in the array are -2, 45, 0, 11 and -9. So pass 1. So that 1 is nothing but the I value, and that 0 is nothing but the j value. So in the first comparison of the first pass, so when I is equal to 1, I told you there will be 4 passes. So in the first pass, the first element is compared with the second element. So -2 is compared with 45, and you know that -2 is less than 45. So there is no need to swap -2 and 45. So once we do this comparison, the array will be as it is. So now j becomes 1. That is the second comparison from the first pass. So this time we will compare the second element with the third elements. That is 45 and 0 are compared, and you know that they are not sorted. 45 is greater than 0. So you have to bring 0 first and then take 45 to the next location. So once you do this, the elements of the array will look like this. That is -2, 0, 45, 11 and -9. So now the third comparison of the first pass. So in this pass we will compare the next two elements, that is 45 and 11, and again you know that 11 is smaller than 45. So 11 and 45 will now get swapped. So once this is done, the array will look like this: -2, 0, 11, 45 and -9. So next, the fourth comparison of the first pass, that is fourth comparison means j will be equal to 3 because we are starting from 0. So in this pass we are comparing 45 and -9, that is the fourth and the fifth elements of the array are compared, and -45 is greater than -9, so they have to be swapped. So what happens is 45 and -9 will get swapped, and the end of this pass, the elements will be -2, 0, 11, -9 and 45. So if you observe, 45 is the largest element of the array that occupies the last position in the array. So if you clearly observe, there were 4 comparisons in this particular pass, that is -2 with 45, 45 with 0, 45 with 11 and 45 with -9. So this is the first pass of the array. So let us now take the second pass. In the second pass, it is nothing but this gets executed when I value, which was 1 in the previous pass, now it gets incremented to 2. Again we will start with j value 0. So remember, I indicates the number of passes, which is the pass number, that is set 2 here, and j indicates the number of comparisons in each pass. So I hope now it's clear. Now we will compare. The first comparison would be between -2 and 0. So -2 is smaller than 0, so there is no change. So -2 and 0 will return their position. So in the next comparison, that is j becomes 1. Now 0 and 11 will get compared, and we know that 0 is again smaller than 11, so there is no swapping that takes place. So in next comparison, third comparison of the second pass, 11 and -9 are compared, and 11 is greater than -9, so 9 has to be placed in the third position and 11 has to be taken to the fourth position. So what happens here is -9 and 11 will get swapped. So the last comparison of this iteration, that was the last comparison of this particular pass, because you know that 45 is the largest element. It is already placed in the last position, so we don't have to compare 45 again. So end of this pass, the elements of the array are -2, 0, -9, 11 and 45. So what we observe is the second largest element of the array was 11, and that is placed in the last but one position. So in the next iteration, we will not compare 11 and 45. So let us go to the third pass. So when we begin the third pass, the elements of the array are like this: -2, 0, -9, 11 and 45. So that is the third pass, and j value it is 0. So now the first comparison is between -2 and 0, and there is no need of swapping. So once we finish this pass, the elements will be placed as it is. So the next comparison is between 0 and -1, but -9 is placed after 0 because 0 is greater, so there is a need to swap these elements. So the elements will be swapped as -2, -9, 0, 11 and 45. So in the next pass, let us compare. We have to compare 0. So that's all we have in this pass, because 11 is anyway placed in the is the second largest element, and it is placed in the correct position. So in this pass, in the third pass, we will have only 2 comparison, that is between the first and second element and the second and the third element. So by the end of this pass, the elements of the array are -2, -9, 0, 11, 45, and we know that 0 is the third largest element in the array, and that is already placed in the last but 2 position. So let us go to the next pass now, that is fourth pass and the last pass of this algorithm. So here what happens now, in the last fourth pass, we will have only one comparison, because largest 3 elements are already placed in their, are already positioned in their places. So now the comparison is between the first and the second element, that is -2 and -9. Again we know that -9 is greater than -9 is smaller than -2, so there requires a swapping of the 2 elements. So the elements will be placed as So there is a small change here. It has to be minus 9, minus 2, 0, 11 and 45. Please make a note here, students. So here this there's a small change, student. This should be minus 9 and this element has to be minus 2. So the elements will be minus 2, minus 9, minus 2, 0, 11 and 45. So that's all is the this algorithm, that is bubble sort. So remember, the passes indicates how many total steps that you're going to execute, and comparison means will be nothing but the number of comparisons in each pass. So as the pass number increases, number of comparisons reduce. So you see that in the fourth pass we will have only one comparison. So that is about the bubble sort algorithm. Selection sort is another sorting technique that is frequently used. So in selection sort, the smallest element is selected from the unsorted array and swapped with the leftmost element, and that element becomes part of the sorted array. So please read the statement again. The smallest element is selected from the unsorted array and swapped with the leftmost element, and that element becomes part of the sorted array. That means, suppose that we have an array of 5 elements. In the first pass, we will pick the smallest element of the array, and that smallest element of the array will be placed in the first position. So in the next pass, we will compare the remaining elements of the array. In the remaining elements of the array, we will find the smallest element, and that smallest element will occupy the second position in the array. So during the next pass, we will compare the remaining 3 elements, out of which the smallest element that we determine will be placed in the third position of the array. So that is what this means. That means smallest element is selected from the unsorted array and it is swapped with the leftmost element. That means, so when we compare for the first pass, there will be 4 comparisons, and when we whatever smallest element we get, that we will place in the first position. Placing in the sense, whatever element is there in the first position, that has to be swapped with the smallest element that we determine. So whatever element is placed now in the first position, that becomes part of the sorted array. That means that is already sorted, so you need not compare it again. So next pass, we will skip this part of the array. So that is selection sort. In simple words, the algorithm will work like this. Suppose that we have 5 elements in the array. During the first pass, we will compare the first element with the second element. If they are not sorted, we will swap them. In the next iteration, we will compare the first element with the third element. Again, we will check if they are sorted or not sorted. If they are not sorted, they will be swapped. In the next iteration, we will compare the first element with the fourth element, and then first element with the fifth element. That means one element that we are comparing remains constant, and only the second element will vary. That is, first with the second, first with the third, first with the fourth, and first with fifth. That is one pass. In the next pass, what we do? In the first position, already the smallest element will be placed. So now we will compare the second element with the third, second with the fourth, second with fifth. So once you finish this, the second, the element that is greater than the smallest element, that will be placed in the second position. So we will go to the next pass. During the third pass, we will compare the third element with the fourth and fourth with fifth. So likewise this continues. So this first value will remain as it is. Only the second element we are just changing in this algorithm. So now let us see how this algorithm works. So here is the program, selection sort program. So the first line is the header file stdio.h. As I already told you, this is the standard input output header file which contains the built-in functions for printing an element or reading an element. That is, the printf and scanf functions are defined in this header file. Next we have void main, that is where the execution of the program starts. So the first part in main is declaration part. So we have declared our array as size basically we have taken 100 elements, that is the maximum possible elements we can have in that array. So a of 100, I and j are used for the for loop. They are loop variables. N indicates the actual size of the array whose value we are going to enter shortly, and temp indicates the temporary variable which has the same purpose as that of bubble sort. So basically temp is used when we perform swap operations. So we need a temporary variable there. So that is the use of this variable. Then minimum indicates the minimum element. That is, during the first pass we will consider minimum as the element in the, that is the first element is considered as minimum. So whatever smallest element we get in each pass, that is the minimum element. So next few set of statements in this page have the same meaning as that of the bubble sort. So first we will ask the user to enter the number of elements. So scanf %d ampersand n. So n is the number of elements in the array. %d indicates that n is an integer. Next, once we have the value of n, now we have to read the elements for the array and store it in the array. So printf enter elements. Again, the elements that we enter are not sorted here. So again, to read the elements into an array, we use for loop which varies from 0 to n minus 1. That is size of the array minus 1. So for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus, scanf %d ampersand a of I. So the element that you enter will be stored in the array starting from index 0 till the size of the array, and all these elements have to be integers. So now this page has the actual implementation of the algorithm. So what happens here is, see, the first for loop has the same meaning. It indicates the number of passes or number of steps. So the number of passes, as in the previous case, it is one less than the total number of elements in the array. So if the elements in the array are n, then the number of passes will be n minus 1. That means if n is equal to 5, there is going to be 4 passes. So for I is equal to 0, I less than n minus 1, I plus plus. So I value will vary from 0 to less than n minus 1. N is 5. 5 minus 1 is 4. So less than 4 means it is 3. So I value will range from 0 to 3. That is 0, 1, 2 and 3. So the total number of passes are 4 when the value of n is 5. So I told you in the first pass we are comparing the first element with the second, first with third, first with fourth and first with fifth. So the first element of the array is at index 0. So you know that because index starts from 0. So let us take that as the minimum element. So minimum is equal to I. So in the first pass I is 0. So minimum will be 0. So now what we do? The element in that 0th index is compared with all the remaining elements. So if one element is the element from index 0, what are the remaining elements? That is the elements from index 1 till n minus 1. That is 0 is nothing but the first element. So at index 1 we will have second element. Likewise the last element will be at index n minus 1, that is 5 minus 1, which is equal to 4. So that is this for loop. This basically it indicates the number of comparison in this particular pass. So for j is equal to I plus 1. I is 0 in the first pass. 0 plus 1 is 1. So j is equal to 1. J less than n. N is 5. Less than n means less than 5, that is 4. So the j value will vary from 1 till less than 5, that is still 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. So how many comparisons will be there here? There will be 4 comparisons. So let us take what happens in the second pass before we check into detail in this algorithm. So in the second pass I will be 1. Minimum will be 1 because the second element is compared with third, second with fourth and second with fifth. So minimum element taken as the second element here, which is at index 1. So minimum will be 1 here, and j value, that is that minimum element is compared with the remaining elements. Where are the remaining elements? So the element being compared is at index 1. So the remaining elements is nothing but from index 2 till 4. So that is 2. I1 is compared with 2, then 1 with 3 and index 1 element with 4. So the j loop will be now j is equal to I plus 1. I is 1. 1 plus 1 means 2. J less than n. N is 5. Less than 5 is 4. So j value will vary from 2 to 4. So it is 2, 3 and 4. So in the second pass we will have 3 comparisons. So that is how these for loops work. I hope it is clear. So the first for loop indicates the number of passes and the second for loop indicates the number of comparison, or also you can take it as the I value indicates the element, the fixed element, and j indicates the particular element. There is a minimum element compared with the other elements. So j will be the remaining index from that following that ith index. Okay. So now what we do here is, if a of minimum greater than a of j, that means if the element at the 0th index is greater than the element at the first index, let us consider minimum as j. That means that whichever element is smaller, that should be considered as the minimum element. So what we do now, we have a case like the minimum element we have currently, the element we are comparing is 10. Now the element being compared to is 2. So if 10 and 2 are being compared, we know that 10 is greater than 2. So in that case we should take 2 as the minimum element. So what is the index of the minimum element? Minimum will be j, because that jth element we found it smaller than the element which we took it as minimum. So minimum is equal to j. So this happened during each iteration. That means instead of swapping each and every time, we just note down which element, in which index the minimum element is present, and once we finish all the comparisons of a particular pass, finally we can swap that minimum element with the element we had considered as minimum. So that is how it works. Okay, so minimum means during the first pass, minimum is always 1. So first with second, likewise it actually takes place. Then, so once we get the minimum element, that ith element and the minimum element has to be swapped. So temp is equal to a of I. A of I is a of minimum. A of minimum is temp. So here now a of I indicates the fixed position. That is, in the first pass, this element at the 0th index or the first element is fixed. That is compared with all the remaining elements, right? So in the remaining elements, which element we found as smaller one? So that is nothing but the minimum at this particular point. So that element and the minimum element we will compare, we will swap. So when we swap, what happens? The smallest element in the array will occupy the first position in the first pass. So that is about swapping. I think the swapping part would be known to you already. So what we do is, we take a temporary variable. The first value we place it in the temporary variable, then the second value we copy it to the first variable, and then the value that we have stored in the temporary variable we will copy it to the second variable. So that is how swapping is done. So once we do this, again the for loop will continue with the next pass, that is second pass. In the second pass there will be three comparisons, that is the second element with the third, second with fourth, and second with fifth. So likewise the next pass, third with fourth, third with fifth. So likewise it continues. So once we are done with sorting, we can display the sorted elements again by using a for loop that varies from 0 to less than n. So for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. So plus plus I and I plus plus both mean the same here. So we can write anything. Printf %d \t a of I. So here we are displaying the sorted elements of the array A. So that is about selection sort. So now let us take an example of selection sort. So here is an array A with 5 elements, that is 20, 12, 10, 15 and 2. So in the first first comparison of the first pass, we will compare 20 with the 12, and we know that 20 is greater than 12, so we have to make a swap here. So 12 will come to the first position and 20 will occupy 12's position. So the elements will be like this now: 12, 20, 10, 15 and 2. So now 12 is considered as the minimum element, that is in the 0th index. Now in the next iteration 12 and 10 gets compared, that is element at the 0th index and the second element at the second index, that is the first element and the third element are compared, that is 12 and 10, and we know that 12 is greater than 10, so they get swapped. So the array looks like this now, that is 10, 20, 12, 15 and 2. So as you observe, 12 and 20 are being swapped. So in the next iteration, the first element is compared with the fourth element. So currently in the first position we have 10 and the fourth element is 15. So 10 and 15 are compared, and 10 is smaller than 15. So there is no change in the position of elements. In the next iteration, 10 and 2 gets compared, and 2 is smaller than 10, so 10 and 2 get swapped up. So 2 will come to the first position and 10 will go to the fifth position. So now at the end of this iteration, the array looks like this, that is we have 2, 20, 12, 15 and 10. So we say that the smallest element in the array is 2, and that occupies the first position in the array. So that is the end of the first pass. So in the second pass, we have I is equal to 1, j is equal to 2. Again we begin with the second pass. In the second pass we will not consider the first element, that is 2 will not be considered. We will start from the second element, that is 20. So first 20 and 12 will be compared, and because 12 is smaller than 20, they get swapped up. So the elements of the array will be now 2, 12, 20, 15 and 10. So in the next iteration, 12 and 15 will get compared, and because 12 is smaller than 50, there would not be any change in the position of elements in the array, that is there won't be any swapping. So the array will be as it is, that is we'll have 2, 12, 20, 15 and 10. In the next iteration, the second element is compared with the last element of the array, that is 12 and 10 are getting compared here, because 12 is greater than 10, and the position of 12 and 10 will get swapped up now. So 10 will come to the second position and 12 will go to the last position. So after this swapping, the array looks like this. We have 2, 10, 20, 15 and 12. As you can see, the second smallest element in the array is 10, and that occupies the second position in the array. So that is the end of the second pass. Now coming to the third pass, so we have 2, 10, 20, 15 and 12. Because we have finished two passes, the two smallest elements of the array have occupied the first and second position. So we will not touch the first and second element of the array. So now we will be comparing only the third, fourth and fifth element. So the third element is 20 and the fourth element is 15. So first 20 and 15 gets compared, and because 20 is greater than 15, we will swap 15 and 20. So 15 will come to 20's position and 20 will occupy 15 position. That is, the elements of the third and fourth position get swapped up. So you can see 15 and 20 are interchanged now. So in the next iteration, 15, that is the third element, it gets compared with the fifth element. So third element is 15 and the fifth element is 12. So 15 and 12 get compared, and because 15 is greater than 12, they get swapped up. So 12 will come to the third position and 15 will go to the fifth position. So that is the end of this iteration, this pass. So this is the third pass. In the third pass, we have only two comparison, that is between the third element and the fourth element, and third element and the fifth element. So at the end of this pass, the array looks like this. We have 2, 10, 12, 20 and 15. So we see that the third smallest element in the array is 12, and that occupies the third position in the array. So if you compare the first three elements, now the first three elements of the array represents a sorted array, whereas fourth and fifth position have to be sorted in the next pass. So coming to the fourth pass, so in the fourth pass, because the first, second, third elements are already sorted, the comparison takes place only between the fourth and the fifth element. That is, fourth element currently is 20 and the fifth element is 15. So 20 and 15 gets compared in this iteration, and because 20 is greater than 15, 20 and 15 will get swapped up. So 20 goes to the fifth position and 15 will come to the position of 20, that is the fourth position. So after the end of this pass, there is only one comparison in the fourth pass. So the elements of the array are now 20, 10, 12, 15 and 20. That is 2, 10, 12, 15 and 20. So because this is the last pass and we have compared and the comparison of this pass is also done. Now this array that we have obtained is the final sorted array. As you can see, the elements of the array are sorted in the ascending order. So that is about the selection sort algorithm. So the point that has to be kept in mind is, in case of bubble sort, comparison takes place between the neighbors. That is, first element is compared with second, then second is compared with third, third is compared with fourth, and fourth is compared with fifth. So if required, swapping takes place when the elements are not sorted. Whereas in selection sort, the sorting is other way. First element gets compared with second, then the first is compared with third, then the first element gets compared with fourth, and then the first element gets compared with fifth. So what you can say is, in selection sort, the one element of the comparison will be constant, will be from a fixed position. Only the other element, the index, keep changing. That is, it moves towards the right. Whereas in bubble sort, each time the comparison takes place between two different indices. So that's all we have in this session. Thank you for watching.